because obviously you said Robert Morris playing the 4-2-3-1 against the 4-4-2, is that they'll control the midfield. That's Robert Morris's benefit in the fact that they will have pretty much always an extra man in the center of the park, which can be important. Alternatively, though, the weakness is those two strikers can be a real danger, especially if those outside backs go long.
We are officially underway right here from Jeffrey Field. To both teams fighting things out in the midfield as we get ourselves rolling out here. Both teams trying to find some comfort. That's that first run from Cozy Uday. We'll see a lot of him at the top of the pitch. See just how aggressive this Robert Morris press is against a four-man Penn State back line. On the foot of Gorbo, who'll try to play it long. Nobody home on that first one over the top for RMU, collected by Jonathan Evans in net. And Evans now finally has solidified himself as that goalkeeper for Penn State. There were some question marks to start the year as both him and Frederick Grundon were working things out, trying to figure out who would be the starter come conference play. That job was won by the redshirt freshman, and Jonathan Evans. So he has now retained that role and will hold that position for presumably the remainder of conference play unless things start to take a turn for the Nittany Lions.
You know, something to note for Penn State has been that this season for them, that Michigan State game, because I know obviously that's upcoming for Penn State. We'll get back to it.
Working down that right side is Robert Morris. The ball played into the box, but cleared away by Evans.
That Michigan State game, when Penn State played against the Spartans, that was a real big tune-up game for them. That was kind of an important shift in their season, as obviously before that it had been a real tough loss to Michigan, and then a Mac Brady loss 5-0 at home to Ohio State. So Michigan State kind of got them back on the right foot. That, I think, is really what this game and then the upcoming game versus King's College are for Penn State as well.
Into the box, and a dangerous ball played in by RMU. Emmerich Nicole was on it for the Colonials, but cleared away initially. Switch back to Schudeman on the right side. Cycled back towards the midfield. A high line set right now by RMU. And a run made towards the box by Hadan. And a little too far on the ball in. It'll be a goal kick for Penn State. Drawn, just a touch too far on that run. We've seen that early play style already for Robert Morris as they've kind of controlled things so far through the first couple of minutes. Just a lot played over the top, trying to get their wingers out on some runs, presumably to play things into Uday, but they have yet to connect on any of those balls played over yet. We'll say Penn State throw on the near side.
I actually think they're going to bring that back, and I think they're going to have it a free kick, in fact. I think Robert Morris is going to feel a little hard done here, as you can see on the replay. Marshall just taking a touch up the line, a little bit of a collision, but it wasn't really, it was just kind of a coming together. It wasn't that Marshall really had to control the ball, so Robert Morris a little hard done on that one.
Nevertheless, play resumes. There's Marshall again working on that near side. Try to connect himself with Danielson. Turned away by Dominguez. Pinballed right back into RMU's side of the field. Dominguez up over the top. Too much for Uday. Nash now working his first true touch of the game. Penn State with some numbers. Switch back to the near side. Marshall up in an attacking position. We'll play back to Dauda. Marshall now, he'll play it through to Medor, but A little too much on the ball.
Starts to look a lot more like a 4-2-3-1 as Ben Medora has really dropped into that number 10 role as well. Caden Grabfelder has been tucked in heavily in the first 5 minutes.
Nash wins possession for Penn State. Robert Morris does well to cycle back and retain possession. Some contact between both sides and the whistle will blow. Early foul for Penn State, that's Levy. And we'll see Josh Lane come up and take this free kick from a pretty high line. Some room on that right side, played in towards the middle. Dauda will clear momentarily. Headed back in. Cycle back through the defensive line. Near side, Gorbel. He'll play up to Bergiano. The win over Marshall, and he'll work his way back to the back line.
Look at how high Robert Morris has those players. 4 or 5 players at this point, 2 of them offsides, but it's basically a 5-on-4. They're just going to try to play long balls and go over the top.
Played in towards that Penn State back line, turned away by Liscum and cleared out by Evans.
The problem is if you've ever seen this pitch at Penn State, maybe some of you visiting Robert Morris fans on the broadcast won't know, the pitch is fast, so it's tough to play over the top.
Penn State does so successfully. On the foot of Danielson in the corner, he'll play back to Dauda. Henderson. Some deflections, and it'll cycle back to Lane. So once more, a chance for Penn State. Found Danielson in the corner, tried to play maybe a little too safe, and turned it over after a little recycle.
It's a good ball to break the line.
Near side, Hadron. Bergiano. Marshall defending, and Marshall will win that one, and that's what you talk about with that pretty quick pitch right here at Jeffrey Field. Some contact, Grabfelder will hit the turf. They'll play advantage momentarily. Danielson working. Jackson Lee fights him off the ball and plays it back to Josh Lane. So, one back by Penn State. Danielson found Lee instead of Dauda, but gets back on it. On the right side of the 18, tries to play one in, turned away by Dominguez for RMU.
You're about to see head coach Jeff Cook in a moment as play continues forward. There he is on kind of bottom right of your screen. You didn't see the facial expression, but he was frustrated with Van Danielson. Couple of good opportunities, had a chance on a 3-on-2 if he could have played the right pass and just mishit it.
Switched across the field. Should have been found, and he'll stay on side. Henderson trying to work back, played towards the box, but headed away for now. Medora with the touch for Penn State. Danielson hits the turf, they'll play on. Dominguez with the contact now on the ball. And instead of maybe some words from Jeff Cook, he instead chooses to calm himself down and take a seat on the bench.
So, Jeremy, what we thought was originally going to be a 4-2-3-1 has looked a lot more like a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder and 2 attacking midfielders. Emmerich Nicole has played much higher than expected.
Yeah, we expected to see him slotting in more as a defensive midfielder. As a great run from Caden Grabfelder springs Penn State. On his right foot now with some pressure from behind. They'll call the foul.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Throughout the majority of this match so far, we're through just about 15 minutes. We're going to get another supercharged throw-in from Jackson Lee on this near side. So play yet another one into the box. Can anybody get on it for either side? Possession fought. Nash had a touch. Danielson tried to make it clear. A booming shot. Way too much on it.
Yeah, but why not? I mean, ball comes out, I believe I'm trying to see on the replay here.
Schooneman, I believe, had the swing on that one, and I don't even think you had any movement from Jonathan Evans in net. Not much you would have been able to do, even if that one was on target.
No, you can see on Schooneman's shot, Evans saw it was always rising. He saw that there's backspin on it. It was always going to rise. But I like the effort. Why not from first time from 30 yards out? There's really no other option. You didn't really have players around you, so why not go for it? Worst to give away is a goal kick.
On your side with some room in front is Bergiano. He played clean this time. Has some options around him, and maybe another throw. Excuse me, a throw for Penn State. Thought that was off of the Nittany Lions. Instead, the flag will go up the other direction, and that call will be overturned by the head referee. Or excuse me, just backing him up, fixing the spot. And on replay, looked like it was off Levy. But instead, we'll go Penn State's way. So, Owen, we're through 15 minutes. Been a lot of over-the-top play and some pretty unsupported runs for Robert Morris. Penn State maybe had a little bit more concise offensive attacks all throughout. What does each side have to do? What does Robert Morris have to do to regain themselves some possession and regain some ground?
For Robert Morris, the Colonials just need a couple of moments of extended possession in the opposing side. They need to just kind of settle down a little bit, because you can see they're playing a little bit of kickball, which isn't a bad thing. If you're going to go over the top and that's your game plan, fine. But the problem is they have so many players so high up that there's never an other option. So Penn State obviously knows, everybody knows, that the ball is going to be over the top, and it's very easy to defend it when all 11 players on the pitch know exactly where the ball is going to go. On the flip side for Penn State, take advantage of the chances you've been getting. They've had good looks. You go back to that Danielson moment a little while ago where he got the ball on a good tackle from Dauda, and it was a 3-on-2, and he just kind of played a bit of a quick pass, played the ball a bit early instead of settling the game down, settling himself down, and then taking it himself, which would have set up his teammates. So for Penn State, put one away. Take the chances you've been getting because you've been creating them. Now it's time to play that final ball.
See what each side has to offer for the final 30 minutes. A substitution for Penn State. That was Phillip onto the pitch. Here's a run now for Robert Morris. It's Bergiano. He'll play it wide in towards the box. Turned away by Penn State. Can Marshall get it before the line? No, he cannot. And it will be a corner kick for RMU. But that substitution saw Phillip step on for Van Danielson. And the two essentially flipping spots as Phillip has been that usual starter up at the forward spot. Figured for Jeff Cook, he'd give him the breather to kick this one off.
I think Phillip's more what Penn State needs right now. He's not necessarily as isolated of a player as Danielson, and Penn State has.
Adron will swing it in. First headed away by a Nittany Lion, and Phillip with a head on it as well. Schooneman now. And the on-ball pressure for Penn State has really kept anything out of contention. A lot of doubles on the ball once things start to work their way towards the corners, and it has served them well through the first 20 or so minutes here.
And go back to my point, I think Danielson relies a little more on teammates to create opportunities. He needs to be playing in and through players around him. Phillip can create a little more on his own. You saw versus Indiana, that solo effort where he just made a run and outran his defender to create the goal, and Brecken Minzy, who's defending him. So I think that's a little more what Penn State wants right now, because if you're going to play with Medor as more of a 10, which is what's been happening now, you want a player up top who can create for himself.
See if that recipe bodes well for Jeff Cook and co. In case you're keeping count, Emmerich Nicole has now hit the turf about 4 times, so clearly the grass playing fast, not just for the ball, but also for Nicole, who hasn't been consistent with his footing just yet. A booming ball played towards the wide side of the field. Henderson seems to be the first one there, and he'll clear it out. Ahead on it for Dodzi Afawubo. He's back on it now on the far side. Played up to Schooneman, and a little fancy behind the back, or back heel touch essentially. Didn't work out too well. Medor wins it back for Penn State. As the run enough? No, it's not. Dodzi Afaruwo momentarily controlled. Nash does well to fight back to the spot. Dauda, Penn State with some numbers, but they choose to slow it down. Played near side to Marshall. Who once again has really been serving in a very attacking offensive spot. Or, excuse me, in a very attacking wingback spot. See just how high up he is on this near side. Nash plays one in towards the box. Medor gets on it. Looked like it was a hand that got on it. RMU asking for a call. Grabfelder had a swing at it as well before it was turned away by an RMU defender and now cycled back towards Penn State's third. Penn State does well to break the press. Grabfelder to the near side with Marshall. Just past the Big Ten logo, working towards the corner. He'll play it into the box. Josh Lane there. One of the first times we've really seen all of the Colonial squad kind of drop back in position and not have anybody instantly on the run. Played looking for Ude at the top of the pitch. Instead, it'll roll all the way back to Evans in net for Penn State.
So far, Penn State's really relied on Caden Grabfelder, which is, I mean, if you're going to rely on the...
Not a bad player to rely on.
Not a bad player to rely on, the 50th overall draft pick in last year's MLS Super Draft. That being said, there are other players with quality on this pitch that need to start, you know, kind of creating more without Grabfelder so that he can get in the final positions he wants to get in, rather than relying on him to create from about 20 yards too far withdrawn.
Levy on it to Medor. He's got some room ahead and some numbers. Medor with a shot. Way too much on it. Then Medor with a hefty swing.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Played as much. They're going to have to work their way ahead with the guys on the pitch before that happens. Morgan Marshall on this near side with a lot of space. Sheridan plays up towards it. Right on the touchline was Marshall, and a missed swing right there from Gorbo will give Penn State a throw just shy of the Big Ten logo.
I don't want to make it sound like we are unfairly representing Robert Morris.
No.
The Colonials are a good squad, but you look at
a phenomenal match.
they're playing
so far.
phenomenally. But you do look at the one common opponent Penn State and Robert Morris have. Well, that's Mercyhurst, and Robert Morris tied them. Penn State obviously
Nil tied him, didn't he?
0-0. Didn't score. Penn State beat Mercyhurst 5-0 here at home. So it's, I think, you know, everybody was kind of expecting that kind of separation between the two squads. Now that being said, Penn State's real ability versus Mercyhurst was largely in the second 45. The Nittany Lions this season have been a second 45 team in the games they have won.
Seems to be a common trend across Penn State athletics.
Yeah.
Grabfelder to the near side.
Everything but overtime.
Yeah, something like that. Marshall plays one in towards the box. First one there was a Robert Morris defender. Looked like it was initially headed away by Dominguez. Now a swing from Dauda. And nowhere close.
Yeah, he caught it on the toe a little bit. He tried to curl it with the inside foot, and you know, it was on his weaker left foot. Tried to take a good strong swing at it, and he just off the toe a little bit, and that's why it curls too far to the left. You can kind of see the spin takes it the wrong way. It was the wrong spin on it.
A missed touch from Dauda. But this RMU team has presented somewhat of a challenge for Penn State so far through the majority of this first half. Now, obviously looking at the stat sheet, it's Penn State on top in pretty much every category, but the only one that truly matters come the end of the game is, of course, the score. And right now we're all knotted up at 0. Nash with a run down the line. Thompson fighting for it with him. It'll be a throw off of Nash, or excuse me, a goal kick off of Nash.
one of my favorite quotes in soccer history, Jose Mourinho, who he himself has been known to win games in unorthodox fashion, shall we say. Said this about Manchester, I believe it was Manchester City. He goes, they can take, the reporter asked him, he goes, you had 80% of, they had 80% of the possession. You guys only had 20%. What do you make of that? He goes, they can take the ball home. We'll take the 3 points.
There you go.
That's what Robert Morris wants to do here tonight.
A little bit of pinball action through the midfield. Some hard contact. Phillip hits the ground. Looks like he's got a hand on the back of his head right now. So, might have to be looked at.
Yeah, just
Shoulder almost to the
shoulder
head.
through the back, upper back certainly there on the replay.
Phillip will stay up on his feet. The clock will keep rolling and play will resume. An apology high five from Miguel Dominguez, the guy who made the contact with him. So now Liscum on it. For Penn State to the far side with Nash. Just over 10 to go here. Doda with a nice run through the midfield, working towards the near side. He'll play to Marshall at the Big Ten logo. The line's starting to get a little bit higher for Penn State. Liscum shifting up. A missed pass right there, but nobody there for Robert Morris, and Caden Grabfelder finds his way on it. Super fluid motion from Caden Grabfelder, who has been almost positionless in this one, just been wherever he needs to be. A nice touch from Davey Levy on the far side. A lot of stack up on that far side. A ball swung into the box. A header from Phillip and the finish. Kai Phillip gets it back from his own header. Finds the back of the net. And with 10 minutes to go, Penn State's finally on the board.
They're on the board, and it's good to see Kai Phillip on the score sheet for the second time this season. Phillip himself, he had been struggling a little bit through the first, 6 games or so to try to, get that end product going. And right here, he's a little bit lucky on the deflection that fell right back to him, but did exceptionally well when it came. You can see the ball in, and the header from Phillip. It's a good save initially, and then Johnny on the spot, it fell perfectly to his foot. And with the goalkeeper sat down after making the initial save, he really had 95% of the goal to score into.
So a finish from Kai Phillip, a beautiful run, and in swinging pass from Davey Levy will get him the assist. And Penn State now has finally gotten the one they were looking for. It took 35 minutes of action, but a 1-0 lead for the Nittany Lions. Maybe a little bit of a breath from Jeff Cook and co. They can now control possession and maybe look for one more. That one too far for Christian Dion.
So I feel bad for Davey Levy.
Oh, he won't get the
They
assist.
won't. Obviously, in the end of the day, everybody knows that it was Levy's assist. He was the one that set it up, and then, the deflection, unfortunate, but it wasn't like there was much Phillip had to do. So the save will take away the assist, but Levy knows in his heart and soul that he did that he was the one that set up that goal.
And we will give Davey Levy that assist internally, and if we were to actually have given him that assist, it would have been his first collegiate assist.
Nope. Sorry, buddy. That's called you got a lot more time in your collegiate career. You'll get one eventually.
The true freshman denied the opportunity right there. And instead, just the goal for Kai Phillip, the graduate. Overran by Levy that time. Might spring out RMU. To the near side with Berjana. Working one-on-one with Marshall. In towards the box, plays it under the foot of Marshall, and Jonathan Evans collects with ease.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Good in using his body and just kind of putting himself in between the ball and the opposing player. And in that situation, that's just kind of a foul you have to make with the skill of Grabfelder in driving on his own.
Anderson and Grabfelder, side by side, the hand up for Grabfelder. He'll play it in towards the box. On the far side, a header on the dive, and a goal. It's Ben Liscum from the back line. Goal number 1 on the season. In emphatic fashion, 2-0 Penn State.
Yeah, really well done. We're going to have a VAR review here to see whether Liscum was onside or not. So the music has stopped as the referee will be the determiner of whether this goal stands. For Liscum, however, I mean, it was an incredibly good diving header. It was a great ball in initially, and Liscum did really well. You can see the ball here from Grabfelder. You can see it's a tough angle. It looks to be that 15, Kevin Gorbill for RMU is keeping Liscum on sides, but it's kind of tough to tell. It's not a direct angle, so you can't really see it, but I would guess, especially if this is the angle the referees are going to use, that they're going to say Gorbill has kept the Penn State goal scorer on sides, and this should stand.
Take a look at the contact between Victor Koa as well, clearly with a hold on Liscum.
Well, maybe it could also be, you never know exactly what the referees are looking at. It could also be Sheridan. I want to see if the replay goes forward a little bit. I want to see if Sheridan holds the defender that he is up against. So that's all fine. There's going to be no foul, obviously, because the ball went in. So the only thing they should be looking at here is offsides. And from this angle, it'll be tight, but unless the referees have a conclusive angle, the rule is you stay with the call on the pitch, and the call on the pitch was a good goal. So
from that other angle that we saw as well, looked like Gorbill had held him on, at least long enough. Still awaiting that final decision. But as it stands right now, the Nittany Lions have 2 quick goals to boost themselves out to a 2-goal lead before the half. And if that one stands, it's a highlight reel goal for Ben Liscum.
Ben Liscum, I mean, did really well on it. It was a good finish on a diving header from him. Something I know Ben Liscum, not typically the player you'd see with a striker-like finish on the end of it. But for him, exciting for him. Obviously, first goal of the year, alongside 3 assists. Let's see what the referee decides. The cheers from Penn State, I think we can all assume what we already thought, which is, yep,
a good goal for the Nittany Lions. Boosts them out to a 2-goal lead. The diving header from Ben Liscum. This time we get an assist. It's Caden Grabfelder. A beautiful ball played into the box. Here's yet another look at it. Couldn't have placed it better. And on the spot was Ben Liscum with a beautiful dive, a beautiful finish past a diving Josh Lane. And the Nittany Lions now with a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, and for Liscum, I mean, I thought he had been really good to start the season. I obviously had those 3 assists already. I thought Robert Morris had done a really good job of defending crosses because Penn State's put in a lot of good ones from Grabfelder, Marshall, Henderson, players like that. Just the one time they're a little slow and Penn State punishes them, and that's it's a tough issue to have right now if you are Robert Morris, because those crosses are only going to keep coming. And Penn State, regardless of what you think about maybe the lack of offensive success that they can have at times, with the players they have in Douda, Henderson, and Grabfelder, and also credit to Morgan Marshall as well, they can put in a good ball.
Grabfelder delivered, and here's Penn State now on the break. Christian Dion on the right side. Defenders will cycle back. Levy loses himself on the grass, and now here comes Robert Morris back the other direction. It's Riley Cotton with some room, does well to work past a couple of defenders. A nice touch from him. He's into the 18. Tries to play one through past Joe Sheridan. Instead has to cycle back on the foot of Hadron. Near side. Tried to play it almost what looked like over the head of Morgan Marshall. Instead will be cleared away. A throw in for the Colonials. A beautiful run right there that we saw from Riley Cotton, just to work himself into space and work his squad into the 18.
That was quite nice. I thought he did exceptionally well, just because of the Penn State players around him. We had 4 players around him, didn't have options, and he did really well using his pace to his advantage. He was the change of pace, especially slowing down, kind of feinting like he was going to just settle and play the ball backwards and retain possession, and then that quick increase in his pace to get another decent opportunity. That's going to be Robert Morris's best chance through the run of play. Is going to be individual efforts that can create moments, because you could see he had to hold the ball for about 20 seconds just to get his teammates forward into the attack.
Sprung himself out very early and just not a whole lot of support back the other direction. Just a moment ago saw Anasa Duran and Jack Berjano having some words with each other after a miscommunication on where one would be. Final 3 minutes of half number 1. A nice touch to the outside from Koa. He'll play it wide. Here's Berjano. Back to Koa.
We're getting to the point where we need to see Berjano. He's going to be starting on this outside. He's played pretty much. Ooh, here we go. Hold up.
Nice ball played in, but the 6'6" Joe Sheridan, the first one there. Hadron making a run of his own now. And towards the 18, will try to play across through. A header right there from Rilye Rahamim, but it'll leak out the touchline.
Going back to my point, it's a couple of things. One, I like that. I like the realization Robert Morris had that Sheridan was the only player back. I like the fact you played that ball over the top, because even though Robert Morris lost it, they got quickly onto the second ball and created an opportunity through that. Going back to the flip side, we really have not called Berjano's name much so far. And that's kind of an issue, because everything has been either through the middle or down the right side, and Berjano not really creating much on this near side.
To the far side, Miller. Cycle back, ball played well to Gorbil. And here's Berjano once more. Been called upon a little bit more as of late. He'll play it towards the box. Evans comes out from his spot, and he'll be there. Some contact between him and Hadron. Excuse me, between him and Rahamim.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Played as much this season. You look at Robert Morris. Rahamim didn't start the match. He's obviously their leading goal scorer. Had started every match before this season. And then for Penn State, neither of their 2 strikers started. Their typical starters in Dion and Phillip.
We'll see how things roll over in half number 2. Kai Phillip still on the pitch for the Nittany Lions. Him and Ben Medor will be together up at the top. So a little bit of shifting around as it's now Medor and Phillip instead of Danielson and Medor. And when Kai Phillip stepped on a couple minutes later, we saw Christian Dion step on. So the 2 of them were paired up together at the top of the pitch, and now they'll be split up, at least for the time being. Tayshawn Reed has worked his way on for RMU. And now Kevin Gorbo will take this free kick played in towards the box. Nobody on it just yet. Initially a touch made by a Penn State player, and now the Nittany Lions will collect. Liscum with a long ball played over the top to the other side of the pitch. Kai Phillip now on it. He's got some room ahead. Grabfelder works in behind, and ball on the foot of Malik Dauda. Far side, Grabfelder. He stayed on. He'll play it towards the box, headed away off the head of Miguel Dominguez. The touch from Kyler Miller clears things away for right now. Nicole circling around, keeping possession for his team. Misplaced by Levy. Now Ben Medor with a little run. The slide comes through from Tayshawn Reed. And now on the far side, possession on the hands of the Colonials. A tall task to climb for RMU, Owen, in this one. A 2-goal deficit, and really kind of just put on their back foot throughout the majority of that first half.
Yeah, I mean, possession was a little more even than what we thought. It was just about a 5 percentage point favorite to Penn State. But it's more about what you do with possession than, how much you have of it. And that's kind of been the issue, is that Robert Morris's possession have been nearly exclusively in their own half, and when it has been on the Penn State side, it's been barely in the Penn State side or in positions that really you can't do much with said possession besides go backwards.
A lot of work to do for RMU, but first a beautiful ball played in towards Caden Grabfelder, working on that far side. The initial attempt turned away. The second attempt played into the box. Ben Nash got tripped up, and they'll say the contact was on, I think it might have gone over that back line, and they'll call it a goal kick. So RMU will take over possession. The cross in from Caden Grabfelder worked its way over that back line, signaled by the assistant referee on that far side. First one there was Cozy Uday. And now possession won by Berjana. Near side Miller. A lot of bunch, one played in towards the box. Sheridan will clear it. Then Medor on the near side, space ahead. Can he beat his defender? He'll take a step back and recollect. Dodzi Afawubo did well to keep that transition off. You can see RMU trying to apply some pressure on this Penn State back line. Hasn't worked out just yet. Grabfelder, middle of the pitch, dragged down pretty aggressively by Dodzi Afawubo. And it'll just be a simple foul. Dauda will keep play on. Medor now towards the 18. He's got a right foot on it. He'll take a swing. Turned away by Lane. A Penn State throw on the near side, but a nice diving save from Josh Lane keeps the deficit at 2.
Very nice start from Malik Dauda. He created this by going quickly, and then Medor did the rest to create that option. Well done to cut in, and then I like the option to go near post. It's a kind of it trips up a goalkeeper. Often they're expecting that curled ball to the far post. Instead, he goes near post, and in the end, it was a comfortable height, so a good save from Lane.
Penn State back on it in the attacking third. Levy now, he'll play it to Phillip, who's squared away from the net. He'll have to turn back, gets a left foot on it, just high.
Once again, it's a nice quick interchange between Levy and Dauda that creates that opportunity. And I like the pass from Levy. Phillip was posted up on his defender. You know, his back is to goal, but he can still create from that. I think he had an option wide. And you can see in the replay here, he had that option wide. I believe it was to Grabfelder on the far side. But because the defender had committed so far to that pass, he was able to turn the other way and get a good shot off himself.
Pinballing around the midfield. An initial clearance by Reed. Gorbel on the far side will play it up to Berjana. Berjana with some room, one-on-one with Marshall. Still fighting on that near side, tries to play a cross through. Marshall got a piece of it, and it'll be an RMU corner.
I like that from Berjana, though, to try to go down the line on Marshall. It's obviously difficult, especially because Morgan Marshall is a very good one-on-one defender and has the pace to keep up with Berjano. But those are going to be the ways you create your options. So, you know, a corner kick here. Looks like RMU, the way that they're going to set up, they are going to put one in front of the goalkeeper, which I like.
Instead, they'll play it short. Just the second corner of the game. Now the next ball played in towards the box. Took a leak out towards that back post, but nobody was there for the Colonials. Dauda on it now. We'll try to play it long. Phillip's got space, and he's got some pace. On this near side, Kai Phillip one-on-one. Misplaced by Dodzi Afawubo. And the switch to the far side, deflected by Phillip. Dodzi Afawubo done well to work his way back and keep up with the pace of Kai Phillip on this near side.
Yeah, he did really well. He got helped out because Phillip had kind of left the ball behind him a little bit, so he was kind of part of his, he was running faster than the ball was, so part of his momentum was having to go backwards to keep the ball next to him. I expect, first off, Dauda did a really good job to set up Phillip, and then second, Phillip knows the next time that happens, he's going to have a much better opportunity to go one-on-one. Because that is a striker for Penn State that loves to go with pace and go with the ball at his feet one-on-one against defenders.
Dodzi Afawubo, not a guy short of any pace himself. Has shown that at moments so far today. Hasn't been able to get anything truly going, but done well right there to get back and save an opportunity. Ball played over the top. On the foot of Nicole, tries to play a cross in. Daoud is there to deflect it. And it'll be a pair of corners over a pair of minutes.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
For Penn State, though, I liked everything that happened there. I liked the recycling possession. This ball from Daoud is perfect. He sees the space, good weight on it. Levy, could he have taken a touch there? Maybe. Nash. I can understand wanting to go first time because he had the space to, and that space would have closed down pretty quick had he taken a touch. But it was always going to be a difficult ball, especially on the one time, especially because you could see he was kind of stretching to get there.
So now Ben Nash will step off. Christian Dion will step onto the pitch for Penn State. Give himself a little breather, played the entire first half and played 20 minutes here of half number 2. Obviously still trying to settle into that starting role.
I think head coach Jeff Cook is going to be absolutely ecstatic with his freshman's performance tonight. I think he was really good. I think he had a couple of moments where you could just kind of see the creativity flow. You could see what he was trying to do. You understood exactly. He looked in tune, my point. He looked in tune with his team around him. And I think he presented something different that you don't sometimes see from other players that play for Penn State.
And I think it's that same kind of, attacking first aggression, attacking first mindset that you and I were talking about that we got from Davey Levy and that you're going to see out of Davey Levy. And now you in translation get that exact same thing from Ben Nash on this left side, just guys who are hungry to push pace, push tempo. And a phenomenal 65 or so minutes from Ben Nash. Played in towards the box off the throw, but cleared away by Dodzi Afawubo, who's been pretty much everywhere for this RMU team, trying to get them back onto the right foot with 25 minutes to play.
Yeah, if you're head coach Jonathan Potter, obviously your team was always going to be certainly not the favorites out here, and I think will be impressed with your team's performance. He's been largely quiet so far, as that that will travel out of bounds. He's been largely quiet. I think he's been appreciative of his team's performance. Obviously, you look at Mercy Hurston, you look at our Robert Morrison, who they played. Obviously, it was that 0-0 draw to Mercy Hurston to start the year, who then, Penn State, the only common opponent these two teams have, Penn State beat them by 5. You look at kind of the reasonably rough start to the year. Mercy Hurston and Duquesne, both games that they probably should have been out on top in. You got that win to Mount St. Mary's. And then the win I particularly like, St. Francis University, just about an hour away from here. St. Francis is a tough team. They're a very good developmental team. You look at a couple of players that have come out of there in recent history. I look at, Rutgers is star boy in Yoshi Shelp. He was a St. Francis University player before he transferred to Rutgers. That was where he developed. And, look at how fantastic that he has been. Already in the top 100 rankings, been very good this year. He was a difficult player for Penn State to play against. He had the goal versus the Indian Lions, the only goal in that game and the winner. So I really thought they looked fantastic there. And then obviously, just the situation is Penn State is a bigger school with more resources. They've put more resources into this team, and they have the talent to show for it. But that isn't to say that Robert Morse hasn't been really good tonight.
A 2-goal deficit for him as Penn State looks for a third. Morgan Marshall on the far side. Couldn't exactly gain his footing. Kevin Corbell has done well to momentarily clear it out. Penn State will recycle back to the midfield line. Grabfelder looking for room. Finds Henderson some room in the midfield. Davey Levy on it. We'll find Christian Dion, who slipped initially, but done well to get back up. Marshall now towards the box. It'll be played in. Phillip got a piece of it, but no chance on net.
Yeah, you can see Phillip a little frustrated with himself. He thought he had his brace right there. Halfway done through this half. See the replay here. You know, obviously, good ball in the middle. Phillip, you can't really be disappointed if you're him. I mean, that would have been a difficult finish. Away from the ball, kind of trying to angle his head back just to get anything on net. It ended up being a good header. Bouncing ball, difficult for the goalkeeper to deal with, but always going to be tough from that angle.
Some contact between both sides. That'll be a throw for Penn State. .23 to play here in the match. 2-goal effort by the Nittany Lions. As Douda will play it wide to Medor. From outside the 18, he'll get on his right foot. Settles back to Douda. Near side Henderson, up to Dion, but too much sauce.
So, you know, while Penn State hasn't had the nail in the coffin yet, they have effectively killed a good last 10-15 minutes of this game, which is important for them. I'm a little surprised that Mercyhurst hasn't made some changes, mostly just because they've been chasing this game. Robert Morris making some changes. I thought that they would have made earlier changes just because they've been chasing this game for effectively a good 15 minutes, and your legs just tire and tire and tire when you do that. But at the same time, I think that this is their head coach kind of just accepting the fact that this game is going to be won by the talent he has on the field, not the talent he has on the bench.
Trying to spring something out. In transition, a nice slide from Douda will hold up the movement momentarily. A heavy bring down by Christian Dion. It was Gorbo who hit the field.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
To the line he can, but Henderson there to win it back for Penn State. A missed time pass will give the ball right back to the Colonials. It's Uday working right outside the 18. A nice back heel touch from him. Thompson on it now. He'll try to play back, and instead Caden Grabfelder reads it well. Christian Dion with some room ahead. Reed comes back well. It'll be slowed down by Penn State. Grabfelder on it. Picks up a double team. It'll be turned away. And now the two teams have traded turnovers a time or two. Penn State with possession on the midfield. .15 to go here. And this is when Penn State kind of started to turn things on in the first half. Can they do the same here, or can Robert Morris answer back with some late game heroics?
Bigger question is, at what point do the Colonials really throw everything to the Wolves? You can already see it starting.
Grabfelder with some room ahead. He's got space. He'll hit the turf. He'll put a shot on. Lane is there. And I think he might have just gotten tripped up with himself there, trying to settle his feet for a shot.
So I actually think, and I want to see, I'd love to see it again, but I actually think what happened was that Grabfelder was going for the shot, and it gave Miguel Dominguez a perfect opportunity to just get a toe poke on the ball. I think that was off of Dominguez last. And that's, the referee seeing the fact that he got a toe in on the ball, no foul given, as Grabfelder just kind of kicked the back of his foot, which is why Grabfelder hit the turf.
Either way, an easy opportunity for Lane and net. No harm, no foul there. And as you mentioned, we'll see if it's time for some changes to be made for Robert Morris if they start to put their foot on the gas. Miller with some room near side. Him and Thompson playing in tandem together. Back to Thompson. Squared for a shot, but settled for the pass to Miller instead. Played in towards the box. A touch right there from Nicole, but not on target.
Yeah, but he's found himself in some good positions, and that's a credit to him because he picked out just the right run as the change will come. And you can see picked out the right run. Is obviously down the line. It was be very tough with where Ben Liscum and Sheridan were playing to play a ball across the face of goal. So it was a good decision to go back across the 18 and kind of angle it more towards the penalty spot. And right there, Johnny on the spot was Nicole. Deserved a little bit of a better finish.
So Anasa John will step on. Kyler Miller presumably done for the evening with under 13 to play here. He is done for the evening. He cannot come back onto the pitch here in the second half. So Evans will play it up. We'll see if Penn State starts to push some more tempo again, or if this change bringing Hadron onto the pitch can spring something for the Colonial side. Over the top, Christian Dion with some room ahead. Him and Dominguez fighting for possession. Far side, Dion. Back to Marshall. Slow build up from the Nittany Lions.
Look at Dauda with just both hands in the air. He wants that split pass. And instead, Penn State's kind of shooting themselves in the foot by trying to play down the line. And there you go, they've lost it.
A little too much compression from the Nittany Lions, but they've got it back right here. Christian Dion from outside the 18 with some room to go. Gets onto his left foot. And Tayshawn Reed is there. He's a little shaken up himself. And for the second time in the last couple of minutes, Tayshawn Reed will hit the turf. Some contact this time between him and Christian Dion. Don't think it was anything all too intentional. I think a shot from Dion might have clipped a piece of Tayshawn Reed instead.
Yeah, it's just a defender putting himself on the line, getting in between Dion and the ball. And I think Dion finished his, he was always going to try to shoot the ball. And I think he finished off that shot by getting a pretty hefty piece of the Robert Morris defender, who's now down behind the play. On the flip side, though, for Robert Morris, you do really well to win the ball. You get it in a good spot, and then you got to find a way to play out of that because you can't give it right back to Grabfelder. And credit to Grabfelder on the one time through a player's legs right to Dion to set up that chance for Penn State.
And we'll see Chase Alexander step on. Victor Thompson collecting some water, and presumably Alexander will hit the pitch in favor of Tayshawn Reed, who had played some limited minutes today, and seems like his night might just be over. This will work his way around the net for RMU, and after a pair of injuries in the final 10 minutes, here's another look at it. Here's the weave in from Dion, and looks like he just got a piece of Reed. Not much either party can truly do about that one.
Yeah, the back of the heel too, always a rough place to, get kicked, and obviously nothing that Dion knew in that. He's just trying to take a shot. Defenders, one of the things that they always talk about, you got to put your body on the line for the team, and Reed doing just that in that situation, and hopefully he'll be all right as he comes off the pitch.
The first touch of the day for Alexander is a pretty well-timed and well-paced through ball to the far side, settled down by Nicole. Uday fighting for possession. He won't win out. A test right there for Evans. Didn't get a clean clearance. Thompson near side. Back to Hadron. Now Thompson with some more room. He'll play it in towards the box. First party there, Penn State. Another chance, and it's Liscum yet again with the clearance. Phillip slipping up right there. Kind of been a problem for both teams tonight, has been the just kind of nobody really able to collect their footing.
It's a common trend on this grass that we've noticed through both Penn State teams this season. Has been whatever the sod is that they're laying here, beautiful, but tough to necessarily stay on your feet for 90 minutes.
A little too much on that pass from across the way, but Hadron there right behind Thompson to keep possession for RMU.
I've also noticed that with this grass, the ball really skips along it. Whether that's just due to the moisture or whatever, not necessarily sure, but it makes it really difficult to control and play quick passes in between lines.
Thompson from outside the 18. He'll play in swinging. Douda gets a head on it to clear away. But Anasa Duran has had some room on this near side. Haven't been able to take advantage of it yet. Pretty much unmarked on that near side. See just how high up Penn State's playing and how compact that back line has become. Some room now on the far side, played in towards Alexander. An instep right there from Joe Sheridan. And it looks like it was last touched right there by Uday. A trio of changes for the Nittany Lions, as we'll now see Matthias Rumley come on. He'll be joined for the time being by Sebastian Dela Cruz alongside Matt Eager.
Here's the situation, which is Penn State has said that they feel comfortable with this lead and they want to get some younger players some minutes on the pitch. Matthias Rumley was fantastic. Take away everything that you might have read about the game in the 4-1 loss to Indiana. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was put in a bunch of difficult spots, and head coach Jeff Cook talked about it, which was it wasn't despite the scoreline. It really was the defenders who had a very good game. It's just that they were defending so constantly, always trying to save, save opportunities, always trying to keep Penn State, in the game and keep the ball out of the net. And when you do that for 90 straight minutes with 25, 30 straight chances, 4 of them going in, while it looks bad on the final scoreboard, it's not necessarily that bad if there's been 30 chances in the match.
You saw Grabfelder, Christian Dion, and Ben Medor step off. Here's the first touch for Dela Cruz.
I like the idea to try to go down the line.
Some pace on it, but it'll be a foul. And a free kick. Maybe an offside call. But either way, possession for RMU. Here's another look at it. And some contact. Just clipped him from Dela Cruz, and easy roll back the other way. 8.5 minutes to play now. With just around 15 to go in the first half, Phillip struck first for Penn State. And about 10 minutes later, a diving header from Ben Liscum off across from Caden Grabfelder secured that second goal for Penn State. It's been a 0-0 second half so far, as we're through 37 or so minutes of action here in the second half. Still waiting to see if we'll get another tally on the scoreboard for either side.
And Matthias Rumley, I'd like to say, a player I'm really excited for to see his development in Happy Valley blue and white, because obviously you do have current starting defender and captain Ben Liscum. He's on his final year of eligibility, the graduate center back. So it'll likely be, Rumley who will have opportunities. You saw him play center back when Sheridan was out. I think it'll be him probably next season as well.
Phillip now with some room. Malik Dauda. A shot from the right foot. A diving save from Lane. It leaked out a little bit, but cleared away by Dominguez. Penn State still in possession. Trying to get some numbers forward, but has 3 heavy dropped back. You drop 3 back for a chance like that. RMU wanted a handball, and after a little bit of delay, that'll be the call.
And that is hopefully the referee stopping it. That was, I was a little worried there. I think we all saw it on the screen that Dauda had picked up the ball and then kind of done like a backwards basketball pass. Maybe you can see it here on this replay. Here's the handball. If it continues, Dauda just kind of picked up the ball and then threw it behind the player for RMU. And that was a little worrying because the referee did stop it, and I think that he gave Dauda a final warning of don't do that again. There's no point in time wasting.
So Danielson steps on for Phillip, whose day is done as well. So after starting the match, playing the first 25 or so minutes. Danielson stepped off for the middle portion and now returns for the final 7.5. A beautiful through ball played. Matthew Henderson was on it for Penn State. Looking for Kevin Gorbel on this near side, and was instead turned away.
But I really like the comfortability of both Henderson and Evans right there. Henderson obviously trusting his goalkeeper enough to play him back from just about 10 yards away in the box. And then Evans to take a touch despite the pressure that was bearing down on him, and then find an outlet pass to his outside back, because the goalkeeper was not in a good position necessarily to clear the ball away. Henderson from the far side, or excuse me, the near side, was able to do a much better job.
Levy with some room had Danielson on a run through the middle. Chose otherwise. Now to the far side with Dela Cruz. He's got options. Works towards the corner. Tries to play it back across, and just a little late on deciding what his options would be, and it'll be a Penn State throw far side. That's kind of what these minutes are for, though, a chance to get your feet wet a little bit, get some looks for the sophomore, and get him some minutes played. Try to ramp him up maybe as we get closer to some crunch time when both sides may need some of their younger players if the opportunity permits. That one out of the stadium. Almost into oncoming traffic.
It is.
Into oncoming traffic, and it bounced its way off a car and is now settled in nicely on the grass beyond Jeffrey Field, so somebody can officially say they have hit a car.
Deflection, so I think both players will claim it.
Sure. You know what? We'll take a half a deflection each. You can pay for half the window each.
It's like the opposite of a half sack in football.
Right, exactly. It's not the one you want. Under 5 to go. Matthew Henderson in swinging corner towards that post, punched away by Lane. Was in competition with Rumley for that ball, but did well to get a hand up there. Beautiful corner from Henderson. You'll take that one just about every single day. Lane just with a good read on it was the first one there. Penn State throw near side after some arguments between coaching staffs and players and potentially some referees as well. Played towards the corner, Hadron on it. Thompson with a touch. Penn State rolling back the other direction. They'll switch it. Here's Dela Cruz again. He's already shown flashes of pace. Penn State will dump back with 4 to go. There's that pressure. Hadron will trip up Liscum, and a yellow card given there. Maybe a little light.
I think Hadron is unlucky there that the kind of the little bit of the time wasting that Penn State had been doing before and a couple of arguments. I think that wasn't. I agree with Hadron's argument that was his first foul in about 25 minutes.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad of a foul, but I think that's the center referee's way of saying, hey, I'm still in control here. Let's make sure we keep this match civil.
Try to keep it civil through the final 3 minutes. Now the 4th yellow card registered against RMU, the 5th of the match. And it was a pretty civil second half after 3 yellows were booked in the first half. Some contact on that far side. Dela Cruz on a nice run after winning the ball back for Penn State. He's got space ahead. Under 3 to go, he'll get tripped up. And all will be clean, according to the referees, and a foul instead will be called that time. Some pushing and shoving between the sides, and after you dish out a yellow card to try to keep things civil, things unravel a little bit with some contact on both sides. 2.5 to play. Maybe some of the frustrations from RMU started to leak their way in as the ball is played up over the top. Henderson will get a head on it to clear away. Nice in-step from Dauda, wins it back for Penn State. On the near side. Room ahead. Seems like he's almost toying with his defender there. Made a move, took a stop, and will give a thumbs up towards the fans as he picks up the foul. And under 2 now to play here in the match. The 2-goal advantage for Penn State. Things seemingly in control for the Nittany Lions, but anything can happen with a little bit of time. Dodzi Afawubo making a nice run, defended by Dauda, but Dodzi Afawubo has done well to keep control. All alone on that far left side. Switch back to that far side. Marshall with just enough on it. And Uday once more has lost his footing and had a chance there. Would have had to make a turn and take a good shot. But here's a swing from Dodzi Afawubo. Some pace on it, but way high. It'll be, looks like it was deflected off of Penn State. So a quick corner coming now for RMU with under a minute to play here. And they'll play short within the final 60 seconds. Played in towards the box to the far side. Alexander's there. Put a shot on net, but Jonathan Evans will handle. And with 35 or so seconds to go, he'll take a nice lounge inside his own 18. And what should go down as a nice clean sheet for Jonathan Evans. Only 2 saves to be made on the day in attribution to the work done by a solid back defensive line. 7 saves were needed from Josh Lane. But the 2 that matter are the 2 that found the back of the net. So with under 10 to go, one more final attempt for RMU. And some juggles from Matthew Henderson in celebration, but the Penn State Nittany Lions have come away with a 2-0 victory. Both goals scored within the final 15 minutes of the first half, and a strong defensive effort to control this Robert Morris team.